Hi, I'm Twink Trash, and guys, I made a dress. If you don't know me, I'm a drag queen and I make it like abundantly, annoyingly known that I make everything I wear. If you do know me, it's probably for like my big installation pieces. There's Twink Trash on a cardboard box. There's Twink Trash in a cardboard box. There's Twink Trash next to a cardboard box. All respect to me, all drag is valid, but I'm so over it. Let me sidetrack. I'm working out of an era in which I've hated everything I've ever done. That's why I look really pretty right now, to validate myself. Please validate me with me. It's time to try something new. And that's what's introducing me to kind of a new era, shall we say? I'm looking for walkability, movability, danceability. For who? Me? Maybe. All of that leads us to the feather dress. Hi, welcome to this video. I actually got inspired to make this dress because of a picture I saw of Lisa Rinna. She's wearing
Richard Quinn
for Paper Magazine. The fluffy bulkiness, I just love that texture so much, and I thought, what about that, but for me, and turn the pussy meter up like 50%. Honestly, a little more.
Sorry to this.
Lisa Rinna. This is like a daunting ass piece, because I'm going into it with some pretty lofty expectations. The goals. Number one, walkability. I need to be able to like feel pretty in this, feel dainty in this, like be a drag queen in this. Kind of the most important. Number two, 360 gorgeousness. Basically, I've got to be everywhere, and so Julia, I want to be able to turn in a 360 and in every perspective go, ooh, ah. Last and, is it least? No, not least. Didn't really plan that good. Easy access. This I've realized is actually a huge stress point throughout my drag that I didn't even realize I really had. My drag is so hard to put on because there's so many things. Even this is like the easiest look I've ever put on in drag, and there's still 4 bracelets, a choker, a headpiece. It's a bow. Get over yourself. For this garment, I've got a lot of like tiny pieces that'll all come together. The idea is how can I attach them all together for the easiest put on effect. There's got to be an easier way to say that. Let's start at the very beginning. It is, after all, a very good place to start. Wait! I bet you're wondering what that is. Very perceptive. Let's practice patience together. May. Okay, May is when it all began to come together. Whoa. I've been obsessed with drop waists recently, but in order for that to work, you've got to show as much leg as possible, as well as, I mean, this isn't a hard and fast rule, but I like the drop waist if there's a skirt aspect to it. If the skirt can lift up a bit, it just gives you that like extension of the thigh. So that was the first thing that I wanted to focus on with the garment, because it's all kind of like framed around the skirt. Here's the thing. This whole garment is kind of built around highs and lows, and as is my drag, the low being the base is cardboard. Could I have done this from boning? Yes, absolutely. Cardboard is free, and I do stockpile it nonstop. The high part of the high-low comes later. Again, practicing patience. The feather textile was then the next part. This was really challenging. No, it wasn't. Really inspired by like Alexander McQueen, what is it, 2008? This was a lot more time-consuming than I thought it would be, which honestly, like, that's drag. This was about, I think, like 2,000 hand-placed feathers. Here's kind of where I ran into my first like error, I think. I hate the color of these feathers. You'd think pink feathers would be like the most readily available type, like pastel pink. I really wanted very desaturated plumes. And the only type they had was this, oh, damn, salmon color. Salmon color. Basically, all I did was just draft the skirt pattern on top of the hoop skirt that I had created with felt, and then take that off, chop it into place, and then just go on my hands and knees and glue non-stop.
So I have this hung up because the ground is disgusting. It's the only place that I had enough actual space to lay down the thing to make the textile. Now have to pick up all the crumbs from the back. So I'm going to go through, hand pick out all the large ones, and this will be the only time that I get to see everything flat laid out before it's on the skirt. I want to make sure that it's beautiful before it goes on, so I can just have some kind of peace of mind, because this dress is about validating myself, which is too much pressure for a little dress.
The lining of the skirt. This is like the high part of the high-low process from before. This was like a hand-sewn satin lining, but on top of cardboard, which is kind of very juxtaposed because I do think that the cardboard will degrade faster than the hand-sewn satin. So it is a little bit of a con to make me feel good. But I'm telling you all that because honesty is so important in our relationship. Ding. Okay, so what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna start to hand gather this. I think I'll basically do them as if they were pleats. I want them to be more like plumes, but I think with this stiffness and strangeness, some larger pleats will really do the trick. So I'm gonna, can I just hang this out? Nope. My whole space is nasty. I hate my space, It makes me so fucking stressed. I'm gonna tell y'all. I think that a big step for me is to be creating a studio space, a creative space that, creating a physical space. Get to the point. I'm just trying to change my standards in drag. Not that they've been low. In fact, they've been painfully high. I definitely have work practices that aren't the most kind to myself. But then I have to really rework that in my own head because how can I be Judge Judy and an executioner? How can I put this stress on myself, but then also victimize myself? How does that work? The brooding artist thing only really gets you so far. And then it's just sort of annoying and dumb. And I don't want to be annoying and dumb anymore. With the different expectations of the garment came different expectations of my workspace. I work in my parents' basement, but I still want to have a really professional spot. I don't want to be embarrassed to take pictures in here. I don't want to be embarrassed to have a mentor here. I think I've spent a lot of time being don't worry girl, you don't have to be insecure, it's all enough. That is true. Could be better though. I know I'm a lot better, so I should be better. So I'm gonna make this skirt. I've been creating in this space ever since I began drag at the age of 15. It's almost been a decade. That's crazy. I am matriarch of internet drag. Wah, wah, wah. That's awful. Utica said to me, it was so impactful that your workspace is a reflection of your brain. I kind of had a moment where I realized, that's why I feel like shit so often in my workspace is because it's a mess and it makes my skin physically crawl. The last thing in May, as well as the last thing for the skirt in general, putting the feather textile on top of the cardboard hoop skirt. And I'll let myself speak for it. It looks like shit, I think. I think it looks really ugly and I don't like it. I agree. I think a lot of the issues are things that I knew I would run into. It's just different actually running into them because how much I hate them. It's gonna be chill. It's gonna be literally so fine. I just need to be able to do it somewhere that isn't covered in shit. And I have nowhere that isn't covered in shit. Oh, it's so ugly. If I weren't from the future, we would be pressing the button. We would be interacting with this thing. However, I am from the future and I know better, and that's all for me. June time, my favorite time. It was fine. Now it's time for the bodice. Where my breasts will be. I hope I make the bodice big enough so my breasts don't spill out. I hand patterned this myself based on my own measurements. It was a long, complicated process that it would bore you to even talk about. So we're gonna kind of skip it. Then it came time to cut out the pattern. Wait, I didn't need to do that. Girl, huh? And I forgot to inform you that it's time to press the button. That's awesome. That was the alarm button. That was the uh-oh, you fucked up majorly button. This is the worst thing I could have done and definitely added so much time to this piece. I cut this steel-boned bodice pattern out of stretch mesh, $3 a yard. $3 a yard mesh. Your man likes chicken, man. To be clear, this didn't destroy the garment. However, it made it so much harder because it's stretching, it's going back and forth, and I'm trying to create a really structured bodice, technically well. And TBH, I haven't done that to fruition. Huh? I haven't done that to fruition. I haven't. Just say talked. I haven't done it good before. My goal for the bodice was for it to stand up on its own. I just think that's so sexy when garments do that. It means, care and it's expensive. This entire bodice was hand sewn. And then the velvet overlay that then covers the boning channels is a non-stretch velvet. To cut that pattern, that very specific velvet pattern of all of these curved lines, drag is so hard. Also, I'm so sweaty right now. But then June ended, and then it was July.
what the fuck?
Here's why the button went unpressed the last time that I almost pressed it. Do you remember that? I knew that I could clean the feathers. It was so bulky and nasty and gross and I hated it. I hand cut, trimmed every loose fiber. It took me days and days. Honestly though, I loved it. That's my favorite type of task, is this mindless, just smoothing and pristine. It was also kind of chill because there were any major problems with the feathers textile on the skirt, I could just cover them with dots. I still didn't know where all the dots were going to go, but I knew that I wasn't really demanding symmetry from them. If there's a big problem, I wasn't really freaking out about it. Also, it's just drag, who cares? But in general, I didn't have a ton of time in July for this garment. I was mostly working with Utica on her DragCon piece for her and Joey J, which, hey, look at it somewhere on the screen. So fucking good. I also went to Lady Gaga in Vegas with my friend Ren. Hey. And I made this really gorgeous leather suit. I made a much better suit a few months after that, but that's its own video and its own photo shoot. And yeah, I've been backlogging content. But now on to the last push, and that last push being August. August was hard, really hard. Time to get serious, because it's crunch time. We shot on the 9th, meaning from the 1st of August, I had 9 days. The sleeves were again kind of like ballerina inspired, very poofy, very like lifting, because once again a drop waist can really be squattifying, and I really wanted to be extended and gorgeous and dancerly, except where's the dance part? My legs look nice though. I felt so indecisive about the boot ties, mostly because like I have this idea of a geometric vocabulary. This piece is so rounded. The boot tie-ups were meant to be my take on a ballet shoe, except those are tied up in a square way, kind of crisscross. So I wanted them to kind of ebb and flow. I'm gonna be real. The only reason I actually committed to them is because I ran the idea by Utica, and she was like, yes, that's awesome. It's definitely my least favorite part of the look. So honestly, Utica sucks and she's so bad at design. Sleeping bag, more like sleeping hag. Sleeping beauty, sleeping poopy. Hey, so sorry to interrupt, but unfortunately we have to talk about today's sponsor, me. This dress is now for sale on my Etsy page. You can buy this dress off my body. This is like Roblox Dress to Impress. I'm a mannequin in the VIP. It is a beautiful black taffeta mini cocktail dress. It's just a really playful, gorgeous piece. Probably the best garment I've ever made. If you like to support local drag, because I'm local to your computer or phone or however you're watching this, you can like leave me a little drag tip. I know it's gauche for a content creator to do that, but I'm not a content creator. I'm a drag queen that made one YouTube video. The jewelry and trim, I'm so excited about. In fact, it's right there. Oh, there are the sleeves too. Hey girls, loved having you. All of these are from a jewelry store on the north side of Chicago, and it's all Frankenstein jewelry. The trim here is a belt. The pearls are just added on. It was all applied onto a PVC fabric, just like a clear plastic fabric by the yard. I didn't really film that much of it because it wasn't that interesting. And I'll say it's not perfect. It's great for costume trim like this. But what I'm so excited about is that now I have full access to a whole new texture than I've ever had in my whole life. I was watching recently Naomi Smalls' series from like 2019 called Smalls World. It's only available on Vimeo, but I am cantankerous and find things. And she talks about this jewelry store in Chicago, and it just opened up her world, like all these new things, and she like had access to it finally. And when I walked into this store, I was looking around and I was just so astounded. And I realized, oh, this is that store. I'm having that experience too. That is cool. So Naomi and I are really good friends. Wonder if you can tell what the setup is inspired by, actually. And don't tell me it looks cheaper. My other space is infested with maggots. And then the last thing that I really had to toss on were all these closures. All the garments, all the gloves, all the chokers, all the blah, 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 all had tiny, tiny closures. And you would be shocked. In the hours and hours and hours, you just have to hand sew tiny hooks to everything. I've been having a good time doing this. I've been like the most healthy and responsible about how I'm treating myself, like my expectations and everything. But also at the end of the day, like this isn't that important. It's just a dress. This is just like one thing. I was so stressed. She's definitely going through it. And it's really easy as a viewer, me included. I think she's crazy too. It's really easy to like look back at this and be like, girl, just do the work, chill out, it's just drag. I've been realizing when I get into drag, I'm preparing to not just be a model, but to be like a director. And I've had a lot of experiences that I'd rather not really go into full detail about that have been really stressful and honestly puts me in a place of when I get into drag now, I get really triggered. It sounds so stupid. I prepare for everyone to start screaming at me and I feel like I'm gonna do something wrong. And not only is everyone angry at me, but they're also right. That's kind of the headspace I get into. And I have to actively talk myself out of it because it always kind of clicks in the day before a shoot. I have to find the inspiration and like joy in this. It's 5 p.m. the day before. I gotta get into drag in 12 hours to do the shoot. Nothing's changed really, but now all of a sudden I'm so... I need to respect myself enough. The past like 3 months of work on this piece, if I don't put a reflective amount of like intent and respect for the past 3 months of work into the next 15 hours of work, then I ought not to do it at all. Then I should put it all down. But that's not an option. It's a thing I've been actively getting better at, and I'm honestly really proud of myself for pushing through. Because I know that there's not a lot of truth in that stress, but there's a lot of genuine things that I feel from experiences that I've had. All of that is to say, she was really stressed and anxious and scared. But she couldn't be, because she had just so much work to do, but she wasn't inspired enough. What was poor Twink gonna do? She was gonna watch Desperate Housewives. I've never watched it before. I'm on season 3 now. I can't stop talking like the voiceover lady. Like every episode opens like, here on Wisteria Lane, everybody has that special someone. Everybody, that is, except for Jennifer, the mail woman. While she was busy delivering notes, salutations, and care packages, the recipients were busy delivering news of their own. And then it'd be like, Carlos, I can't believe you didn't tell me about... Gabby, I just think that you... And then Lorraine is like, really? You did? Well, you didn't have to do that. Ginger, the best character. I'm so bad with names. Well, it just seems like we'll have to have them over for an apology luncheon. Yes, not everyone on Wisteria Lane knew how to love, but some would learn in due time. Because on Wisteria Lane, some people aren't the things that they are, and never after dark. This is the last push. This is where everything gets real. It was fake before. I wasn't being real. Sorry. By the way, I'm pulling an all-nighter. It could be worse. You know what? I don't have a lot to do. I mean, that's not true. I've got a lot to do. We've got 5 hours until I have to start getting dressed. The big last thing is the wig. And that's the last thing that stresses me out. If it doesn't work out, I'm definitely fucked a little. I wanted this updo like beehive with the curls holding themselves up. But I didn't have the hair gel to really make it like crunchy and hard. I also just didn't have the time to allow it to like dry and set. So I actually built a cage. Technique-wise, this was kind of poorly done. Look-wise, beautiful. There's ways I'd like it to be cleaner, but the scale of it is perfect. The color of it, the bow in the back. Actually, wait, I'm talking to myself. This was so fucking cunty. Wait. It is about to hit 3 a.m. I'm really happy. Let's look at the parts that I like. Front facing, awesome. The bow's too big, that's okay. I'll just make it again. So according to my ongoing list, this is like everything I've got to get done in the next hour. Oh, where's my Celsius? How could I say no to Peach Vibe Sparkling White Peach? Live Fit edition. Give a review. That's the best one I've ever had. And I've had like 3. Gloves, boots, plastic garters, done. Glue bows, top bow adjust, did that. Dress, stone and feather, yes. And by stone and feather I mean there's 1 stone and 3 feathers that had to be done. Hair, cut for fit. I like to cut my wigs right here. And then you can kind of like bring that, you can just adjust the hairline a lot nicer. This is a $30 wig from Amazon. You know? This is a $30 wig from Amazon. Hello! Sleeves, pearls. Yeah, I need to do some pearls. I'm just gonna do like 2 on each side. Just to get the idea of like, look, pearls. So that's good. I've got 59 minutes, 4 a.m. hits, and I need to do a full shave of my body. The shoot is at 8 a.m. I have a root canal at 10:10. So I need to pull an all-nighter, get this thing done. Get into drag at like 4 a.m., go over, get dressed, walk to set, and get this. Set is at a high school academy private school. I would like to preface the whole thing with that, like, everyone was lovely and nice, but I did just feel very anxious about the possibility of, again, being screamed at in drag in a place where it's kind of like, yeah, why are you here? The logistics of like choosing a space isn't just visual. It's also like, okay, how am I going to get my equipment there? How am I going to get dressed? Is there a bathroom that I can fit through the door? Or then am I going to have to get dressed like on shoot? So then I have to make sure that I'm not like a predator. So it's just so many different logistics that then stress me out. The photographer that I had the pleasure to work with is Kate Stevenson, who is an amazing photographer, amazing artist, an amazing musician. I understand her vocabulary of like creating things. She just makes stuff. She's just the coolest. 4 a.m. hits. I start getting into drag. The sun hasn't even come up yet. I haven't gone to sleep. The way I packed everything in suitcases, this is like international travel. I'm going like half a mile. I had to have a checklist of everything. Because here's the thing. With a photo shoot, with drag in general, but I experience drag primarily through photo shoots, there can only be so many things that aren't working 100%. If like the bra piece keeps hanging off on the edge, the bracelet's snapped, but like I'll just tie it or something. The wig's pulling back a little bit. No, because those three things all at once, I have two hands. I have two hands and I gotta look pussy and act fierce. It's a whole Rue Goldberg machine of misfortune. That's what drag is. I need to like make sure every small detail is right in the next 12 hours while feeling like shit about it. And then I have to pose and like be all happy. Doing a photo shoot on location demands so much prep, so much attention to detail, because if you're on set, the shoe breaks, that could be the end of the shoot. That's happened to me before. So I packed up the car. The dress like hardly fit in the car. I drive over. The wig is balanced on this seat. I'm driving so slow. Get to Kate's house and I meet her mom for the first time, but I also have to get into drag. So I'm like in her kitchen, basically butt-ass naked. And her mother is so lovely. Her whole family is so cool. I'm just so embarrassed. I'm very conscious of the space I take up and like being a guest in other people's homes. But then also drag is when you need to be the most like selfish, conniving monster ever. So I'm trying to balance the both while I'm in my panties, while meeting her. We walked across campus, we get into the ballroom, and I'm very thankful of everybody there, that they were so kind to me and very supportive, and people called me very pretty, and they were like, what is this for? And I was like, to be pretty, and they were like, that is awesome. I had half an hour allotted just to get into the garment. You'd think that's more than enough time, right? An hour of work to get into this piece, and then walk half a mile, which was crazy. Should have just not put on my shoes yet, no. By the time we get on set, it's 9:30. I have a root canal at 10:10. We do the shoot in 10 minutes, and let me tell you, Kate Stevenson is a professional, and I would not have been able to do this without Emma, who is the like on-set helper. Every drag queen needs an on-set helper, the photographer. That is too much to ask of them. Literally, you saved my life. I couldn't have done this without you. I love you so much. Thank you so much. We have 10 minutes to do this photo shoot, which of course, Kate Stevenson eats up because she is nothing if not a professional. We take off those shoes. We're booking it across campus, throw everything in the car. I'm driving back to my house to get out of drag at 9:55. I had 5 minutes to get out of drag and be like publicly presentable. If you aren't close to a drag queen, the ugliest you could look as a human is what you look like right out of drag. It is like you in your bare form. Like if you were just birthed as a 24-year-old, that's what you look like. And that's what I was like at the dentist office. But let me tell you, I got there on time and they loved me. I made friends at the dentist office. I do forget your names, but I will see you again for my checkup in November, I think. Yay! Ding, ding. I got my root canal. It was fine. I don't know what everyone was complaining about. I'm so proud of this garment. This is the best thing that I had made up until this point in my career. It really is beautiful. It's so detailed. There's a new dimension of texture with all the jewelry. The hair is the best hair I've ever made. Also the mug, that's the best I've ever looked, I believe. I hadn't painted in like 2.5 months and I was really, really anxious about my skills disappearing. I think that anxiety helped me out. Mental illness is nothing if not good, right? To go back to the goals that we set at the beginning, and we're back. Let's see if we actually like, not we, You didn't do this. Let's see how I did. Number 1, walkability. I don't think I could like have much of like a lyrical sway. Been watching Dance Mom, so I know exactly what I'm talking about. And because of how tall the hair was, it was a bit of a balancing act. However, I think if I trained in it for like an hour, I could do it easy. So I'd say I got B+. On to number 2, 360 gorgeousness. Because of the general issue of the bodice being built on a mesh, there was some strange puckering that I've just never seen in a dress before. I don't really blame myself that much. However, it is factual that it wasn't perfect. So B+. Always good to know you can grow. Okay, number 3, last and certainly not least, easy access. As we've already covered, this piece took me over double the allotted time to get into, leaving us with 10 minutes for the actual photo shoot. I dropped the ball on this one. This goal was not obtained. This goal, in fact, was, I did bad. Once I got into it, the only thing that was troublesome was the boot tie up. Those kept falling on the left side. But also, we did walk like a mile in this garment. So that's not to say I totally failed. However, it's certainly not to say that I succeeded. If I was a teacher, first of all, I would be in this still.
Now, class, did you all study?
Hi, Katie. I think I got a passing grade for it. Well, that's a lie, because I don't think I could go to a party in this piece. However, it's the best I could do without a passing grade, which is, unfortunately, a D+. Now, if we quantify this all together, something, 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 does anyone fucking care? Does it matter? Not really. So whopping B-. And that's a passing grade. Do you think I should be disappointed? Because I'm not. But art is never quantified by a number. Art is quantified by how it feels. And I felt so pussy. And that's it. That's the video. That's also the look. I've already said it, but I'm really proud of it. Also, I think I'm proud of this video. I haven't edited it yet, but I put a lot of work into this. I guess this would be the place to announce it, but I'm kind of a YouTuber now. I think if you've watched it this long, you care. So I'm just gonna be annoying for a second, but I haven't felt this good in so long, and this like inspired and this motivated. For a minute there was some time where I did not have a clear view of my future, and it was really detrimental to my mental health. But I finally have a really good grasp on it. It's allowing me to like do fun, cool stuff. So I'm here to do fun, cool stuff and show how much I care about everything. I care about drag so much. I care about art so much. And I hope this was really fun. I have a lot of plans for a lot of really fun things, and I've already done a lot of them, so I get to show you guys later, which is like sickening. Please like, subscribe, comment, duh. But I think the most impactful thing y'all could do is like, what's a clip from this that you had fun with? What's a 20-second clip? Put it on Twitter. I think that's how stuff gets some traction, and I'm not asking to go viral. I just love everything that I'm doing right now, and I want to share it with people that care. So if it made you laugh, share. If it didn't make you laugh, shut the fuck up about it. And I'm gonna be back soon. I've already filmed other stuff. I've already got other stuff to do. So you can't even fucking stop me if you wanted to. Bye, freaks. Wow. So now let's reminisce and recollect the sighs and the kisses, the arms that close.